Hi, here I am again with the second last video. Transformation, post-trauma stress, denial and stuck. Heavy. Transformation. The ornate bowl is made largely from purple heart, a wood from the Amazonian rainforest. Purple heart, lovely. The purple, the violet flame and healing of the heart and all of that transmutation, transformation. This was part of an ancient shipwreck that was salvaged after nearly 200 years of lying on the seabed. When the wood was brought to the surface, it was unattractive and barnacle encrusted. Usually, when found by fishermen, it is immediately consigned back to the deep. In the hands of the craftsman, this ugly specimen can be transformed so that its beauty and inner richness are revealed. In my own journey, what were the rather ugly events or experiences that life has thrown up? Like childhood hurts, losses, redundancy, sickness? Did I reject what I was faced with by trying to consign it back to the depths of the unconscious? What disappointments or challenges have I so worked with that their inner beauty has been revealed? What event could I salvage from the seabed and transform into life? It's not what happens to us that defines us, but rather what we do with what happens. And that's the journey of our life. Our conscious healing journey is transforming the shadow self into the bright new true self, and it's very worth it. So pick somewhere to go next or start next, or ask the universe to show you, ask your angels, your spirit guides to show you what is within you that needs to come to the surface and be transformed. And just know you'll be all the better for it. It's not, the fear of feeling the feelings is worse than going through them. Because at least when you're going through them, you're going to come out the other end and that you're doing a job that's for your highest good and the highest good of everybody else too. This is a lovely piece. So this is post-trauma stress. Hands cradling a rose provide a symbol of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. This is a condition where a person survives a trauma but still suffers the psychological effects many years after the actual event. Long after a victim of trauma has apparently recovered and resumed normal life, a part of their emotional life may have been left behind. A trigger factor may awaken a host of unpleasant symptoms that so often get misdiagnosed. The rose represents that delicate part of the soul that needs to be recognized and gently caressed back into life. Could I still be reacting to past traumas in my life? Yeah, if it's not healed and sorted, it's going to come up over and over again, triggered by different people or different situations, or even something on the television, or even a movie that you sit down to watch and next thing, bang, it brings back all your memories. And it wouldn't be to do with what happened to you at all. It might be just a word, it might be a scene, it could be anything that just triggers, and then up it comes to the surface. So get help and deal with it, and ask for help to clear it out of the system. What kind of events could reawaken earlier unresolved issues? What was my most traumatic event, and could I still be affected by it? Sometimes we work through these in our nighttime dreams too. I have friends who don't do this work physically when they're awake. They do a lot of it in their dream time, and they'll have a situation in their dream that'll bring up the fear again, or bring up the sorrow, or bring up the sadness or the worry or the terror even in their nighttime dreams. And it's not fully worked through that way, but at least it's better than going through it all day, every day for a week, you know. Am I willing to acknowledge my trauma and seek help if necessary? Two ducks get into a serious fight. When they go apart, they shake their feathers and continue on their way unaffected. The difference with the human is that he or she doesn't shake loose. Of course, an event like that is going to stick within you somewhere. And there are four bodies: the mental, you can shut off the mind, you can shut off the heart, the emotions will get triggered. Mental, physical symptoms, sickness, illness can be linked to the trauma, spiritual and emotional. So it will show itself on some level. And usually I do think we have to work through the four levels. Maybe if we do the work deeply enough, it won't come up in the physical level as an illness. Okay, so get help if you need it, and make sure you pick your counselor or your helper or your energy healing, that feel your way through it. Who feels right to you? Suss them out, and don't just pick one out of the phone book, Denial. These are all little egg cups again with lids, are they? Or eggs, maybe. Denial. The disappearing ball trick provides a graphic illustration of how we so easily slip into denial when dealing with difficult issues. The magic involved is real-life drama. The lid is placed over the ball, just as we tend to put the lid on things and refuse to talk about them. We had a video with lifting the lid earlier too. Next, it is removed and the ball has apparently disappeared. By denying a painful reality, we think that it has gone. Once again, the lid is lifted and miraculously the ball reappears. Whatever we repress will always seek expression. That comes up over and over again. That teaching. When we try to disown something, we give it power over us. Our reactions reveal what is hidden, since we reenact the old scenario. We relate in the present while we react from the past. What events in my life am I still angry about? In what situations do I find myself reacting the most? Where do these feelings actually belong in my life? How could I own these feelings? Write about them and burn them. Write about them. Write about what you experienced. Write about your emotions and what you're feeling now, and go back to what you felt then. Difficult work, but absolutely beneficial to clear you and to set you free. Take the burden off your back. The past is never where we think it is, but is always wherever we are. So it's making peace with your past as well. And of course, we do get stuck, and that's no harm. We get out of it. Once we are conscious and aware that these things are moving us forward, if we work through them, we're okay. And if we can help others realize that too and help them become into awareness. That's what my counselor used to say. Awareness, awareness. My teacher used to always say awareness, and I'd be going, well, flip awareness. Anyway, I don't want to know about it. So, stuck. The little mouse, having eaten his way into a block of cheese, has become too fat and now can't get out. Self-absorption leaves us stuck, while awareness is what we need to help us move forward. Feeling stuck leads to a sense of frustration. It can seem to last forever until the light of awareness reveals the way out. What we are most blind to in ourselves can be obvious to somebody else. A word of insight, we had insight before, and the same message, from the right person can bring more freedom than years of struggle and searching in the darkness. And I am here. If you have bought these videos, I am here if you want to run anything by me at any stage. Than searching in the darkness. The cost of freedom may simply be pride that prevents acknowledgement of my need for help. Where do I feel? We had pride in shyness on the shyness card as well earlier. Where do I feel most stuck in my life at present, and what is causing it? Am I trapped in self-absorption with the focus too much on myself? Am I caught in the past and denying myself hope for the future? Are there things in my life that I have never spoken about to anyone? Am I being too harsh, critical and judgmental towards myself? Wrapped up in ourselves, we make a very small parcel. We had self-acceptance in another video too. What are we on? 10. Do you know, I'll do all these in the one video. Perception, how we see ourselves and how we see the world and how we see other people. Okay, it's all about perception. And like, I look at Facebook posts now and somebody will put something up and somebody will take it totally the opposite way to the way it was meant. And then there's this push-pull argument and criticism going on, like, woo. Perception. Happiness is determined not so much by what we see, but rather how we see it. The problem is that we see things through the lens of our own particular spectacles. These may be cracked, out of focus, or need cleaning. Our perception of reality is greatly influenced by our past experiences, be they good or bad. How we react to a particular situation is not an indicator of the truth, since another may react in a very different manner. Hence the saying from the Jewish Talmud, we see things not as they are, but as we are. Reflections for healthier perceptions. Could I see a current problem also as an opportunity? It's this negative and positive, you know, it's the victim mode and the empowered mode. It's all the opposites. Could I see a setback as a springboard? Could a stumbling block become a stepping stone? Could a mistake be an opportunity to redesign? Could a disappointment also be a divine appointment? Could a tearful departure also be a joyous arrival? Could an end be a new beginning? There are none so blind as those who think they can see. That tearful departure also be a joyous arrival, like when you've spent time with somebody and next thing they're going back off their holidays to their own home, you have grown and evolved together within that meeting while they were on holidays or when you were on holidays, and you have a new relationship afterwards. You've grown a bit more and you're more open and more spiritual as well at times, and that's when they come and go on holidays. I used to cry when my cousins would be going home to Canada mostly, but they used to live in England. Could a tearful departure also be a joyous arrival? Like also the ending of a relationship, can it be the beginning of a new life? Can it be breaking an old cycle, an old pattern, and just look at it on sadness when you're leaving, no matter how it was, what kind of a relationship it was, sadness at leaving the old life. It's the only life you knew. The safety net might be gone, but it's the beginning of a new life. And the way you perceive this new life will be the direction you'll take. Influence. This reminds me of the stone in the pond. You might say that. Oh no. A drop falls on the earth and becomes one with the ocean. Long after it has disappeared, the ripples still fan out. So it is with all our lives, the ripple effect. No one's life exists in isolation from others, and how we choose to live our lives continues to have its influence, whether for good or bad. We are products not just of our personal choices, but also of the choices made by our ancestors. In Exodus 20, chapter 5, the Bible says, The sins of the fathers are visited on the children. Well, there's your ancestral healing. The effects of wrongdoing don't just die with those responsible, but can pass down to later generations. And I've told you about my ancestral path in the earlier videos about great-grandfather back then. What choices am I making in my life at present that will become the legacy for another generation? I spoke about that too in the earlier videos. Clear as much as we can here, and don't leave secrets behind you, and don't leave unfinished business or unforgiveness behind you. Just get it done before you leave, because the kids are going to deal with it. If it's not your children, it's going to be their children. Because it was me dealing with great-grandfather's stuff, and his stuff was intertwined with his daughter, who was my grandaunt, and it was her stuff. So I reenacted both their lives and had to feel their feelings to understand and clear and forgive and set them free. When you do ancestral healing, you clear back 7 generations and 7 generations forward. So it's well worth doing. It's difficult. It's empowering. It's fulfilling. And it's exciting at times too. And you'd be so proud of yourself when you do see the outcome and feel the inner feelings that you feel, and what's gone and what you've achieved and where it's brought you and how you've grown and evolved as well. It's not just for their sake that you're family healing or your generations to come. It's for your sake too, so that you feel much better and you're not carrying that load on your back. If parents choose not to deal with their own issues, how will it affect their children? That which one generation chooses to forget, another is forced to remember, and most definitely I can attest to that. Interplay of life, that's your yin and yang symbol. And balance, we have balance coming up. The yin-yang represents the interplay of male and female energies in the universe. It provides a useful illustration of the dynamic relationship between light and darkness, with each needing the other for completion. The reality and flux of life finds expression in the yin and yang symbol, where there are highs and lows, times when the cup is empty and others when it overflows. The circle of light in the darkness suggests that even in the most difficult periods, there is something good to be found. It is during such times that the greatest personal growth takes place, and we see important issues more clearly. Similarly, the dark circle in the light suggests that even when things are at their best, we need wisdom to recognize that other forces may also be at work. How might the above dynamic apply to my life at this time? History shows that people handle failure better than success. Why? Creativity is known to blossom in times of greatest hardship. Why? The dividing line between light and darkness runs through every human heart. Creativity, anger pushes creativity, pushes you into creativity. Fear pushes you into creativity, creating the life that you want, not settling for less than you came here to experience, plus putting your gifts and your talents out there too. You get fed up of the old way of doing things, the repeating patterns, and you just get up and you start doing things differently. So that means you're creating a different new life and a new way of doing things and a new way of being in the world as well. And here we have, we'll read our balance now. No, we won't. We'll read giving and receiving first, because we have to balance the giving and the receiving in our lives. The boomerang, oh, that's a boomerang, okay, is the national symbol of Australia. When thrown, it is designed to return, and as such, it is a potent symbol of giving and receiving. What you put out there, you get back. What we give out determines what we get back, because as we sow, so do we reap. If we sow seeds of judgment, what right have we to expect a positive response? It also reflects the truth that what we most need for ourselves is what we most need to first give to others. If friendship is what I need, then how can I learn to befriend? If acceptance and non-judgment is required, is that what I give? If I want others to reach out to me, then must I not first reach out? If understanding or tolerance is needed, is that what I must practice? If peace is needed, then must I be a peacemaker and not just a peacekeeper? If forgiveness is sought, must I not learn the art of forgiveness? Give and it will be given unto you. And that putting out, what you put out comes back. In my Onwards and Upwards book, I tell about the incident where at a meeting, when I was on a certain committee, in the meeting I called out a person's mistakes. They made mistakes in their work, not huge, but I was told by other people we need to bring this out and bring it up at the meeting. And I was only new on the job, so I did it. And I did feel at the time, well, flip that, this is serious in my books that you make mistakes with figures in a job, And so I will take responsibility. I could have said, no, I don't feel right doing this, but I do take responsibility for it too. So I read them all out, and the woman, God bless her, she didn't flinch. She just took it on the chin. And 20 years later, I was in a job and I was starting this work and I was doing all this personal healing and reading cards and all of that. I had no interest in the work, only that I had to get it done. I got paid for the work I did. I didn't get a week's wages for turning up. I had to do the work. It was contract work. So I did it as best I could, but my whole mind wasn't on it. So I did make mistakes, and it was with numbers as well and figures. And I didn't make big mistakes, no more than the woman made big mistakes. They were easily found and they didn't upset any apple cart really, but they weren't balanced. The columns weren't balanced. So to the trained eye, they'd see it like that. So at one stage, we got a new boss, a lady boss, and she decided she would like to meet each of us personally to get to know each other. And I went to my meeting thinking I was going to get a new computer because I had one of the older computers, and looking forward to this meeting, meeting the new boss and whatever. What did she do? She called out all my mistakes, and I was like a bold child in the old school system. You won't get any more clients until you clear up this mess, and we won't be giving you any new work. Well, it hit me straight away. It hit me here and in my tummy. Straight away, I knew it. I went, oh my God, before I even left the room. This is how the woman felt at the meeting when I gave her her mistakes. So the boomerang effect, what you put out comes back. It was a great teaching, absolutely. And I ended up clearing up as much of the mess as I could. I vowed I would never make another mess in any job or in my life, because I was in the middle of clearing up a mess I had opened up like it needed to be opened up, but the way I went about it wasn't the best. So there was guilt and shame. Well, not shame. Yeah, guilt and shame and mistakes and forgiveness of self all to be done. So I was in the middle of clearing up that mess, my own mess, and I was in the middle of clearing up my ancestral mess as well. And now here was another mess, a physical work job mess. And I vowed never again will I get myself into a mess, because it all went back to not speaking up, not asking for help. I used to go back and learn from the person who did the work before me, and he knew what he was doing and he could take shortcuts, and I didn't see them, because we did a training course and I didn't fully get everything, and I didn't ask. Throat chakra, didn't ask for help, didn't say I couldn't do it, was too proud to admit that I didn't understand. There were those two things, and also avoidance. I'd avoid doing the work if I'd pick the easy jobs first and I'd fly through them. And when it would be coming up to the time I'd have to put in my work to get paid, I'd try and break through the difficult stuff and try and finish. So I wasn't doing it properly. I swore I would never, ever, ever take on a 3D job again, because I absolutely adore what I do now, and I'm speaking from experience, and I've lived everything I speak about, and it's just wonderful. I know I can't make mistakes, and if somebody gets triggered, God bless you, God bless them. It's a trigger. I got triggered so many times myself, and it brought me forward into my next step, my next level. But of course I don't intentionally trigger somebody, but my stories might, and my readings might, because up they come, and I will ask questions like, okay, forgiveness is after coming up. Did something happen in your life, in your childhood, in your job, in your marriage, in your relationship, that somebody you're estranged from? Is there forgiveness needed? And then, of course, a lot of people, like I used to think, will say, why do I have to forgive them? I did nothing wrong, they did. But forgiveness is for yourself, not for them. The boomerang effect is going to happen with them. If it's not in this life, it'll be in the next life. But an awful lot of us are clearing personal this life stuff plus past life stuff, parallel lives. We're tying up loose ends and becoming our true selves and clearing up the messes we made. So how did I come to that? The giving and receiving, the boomerang effect. So that's my story around the boomerang effect. And we'll finish on balance. The piece is made from monkey puzzle and reflects the ancient idea of the wheel of life. The branches of darker colours radiate outwards at almost uniform angles, resembling spokes, while the inner core represents the hub. Yeah, it's like a wheel. While the hub suggests the need to be centered in oneself, each spoke can be understood as aspects of life that need to be kept in balance in order for the wheel to function. Examples would be family, friendships, work, recreation, and learning. If too much energy and time is given to any one spoke, this automatically weakens the others. Eventually, the area most deprived of attention is where the wheel collapses. To be in right relationship with others and with God, do I not first need to be in right relationship with myself? To live a life of harmony, do I not need to constantly choose between good and best, and between what is important and what is merely urgent? The art of living is the art of balance. And also, we can get caught up in this healing journey as well and leave others out in the cold. So we've got to be careful of that. Now, me personally, thank God, the universe, I was given a lot of personal space to do my inner work. I was alone a lot of the time and did massive work and found my tribe and my groups and my healers and all of that. But my hats off to you if you are in a relationship doing this work. Hats off to your partner who is supporting you, if that's the way it is. And hats off to you if you're doing it on your own too, that you only have your girlfriends or your male friends, your support system, that are not here in your physical life. They may be over the internet. A lot of that was me too. Well, I had personal friends too, and some understood and some didn't. But I was mostly alone. You know, I'd have the odd coffee and that, but I wasn't living with somebody, which was good. It was good. So balance also work, rest and play. And the family, your relationship with yourself comes first. Your relationship with your partner comes next. In my opinion, it's foremost. You can't leave your partner out in the cold, and you've got to, we dealt with this in other videos, supporting each other and talking things out and being open and authentic and vulnerable and intimate with your significant other as well. And then, of course, including your children if you have children, and being a family life is important too, and everybody partaking in the fun as well as the teaching. And the job, then leave the job behind you when you come home in the evening and chat. We had a couples counselling session one day, and it was an old man who was the counsellor, and he said that way back when they got married first, his wife said that she was out the door if they didn't sit down at the end of every day when he came in from work and chat about the day, and anything that was brought home was brought to the surface, up and out and spoken about. And she even massaged his shoulders, and she got her turn to talk about her day. I don't know whether she was a stay-at-home mum or a worker out in the workforce either, but she got her chance. And beautiful. I know that is extremely difficult when you have small children, but fit some time together in your day. And you know, a lot of people are starting to get ready for the next day and make the lunch for the next day and go. Breathe. And this coronavirus has taught a lot of us a lot of stuff as well. And now many are working from home. So it was a huge positive in many ways, the virus, and in many other ways, not so positive. But what did we learn, and what are the good points? What's the positivity that came from it? What was the growth that came from it? And personal relationships, just nurture them and look after them. So I'll leave it at that, and I think I'm going to put this video out as a sample of what the rest of the videos are like. So talk to you soon, and the videos will be available through my website www.angeliclifeguidance.com. How many of them are there? I think there are 11. I'm after putting 2 in one there. Oh no, I had 14, so I have 13, I think. I will put a price on them, no idea the price. I think if you're buying them separately, they will be €5. Okay, so €5 by 13, 5 1s, 5 1 are 65, 5 3s 50, 65. So we leave it at €50 for the whole set. And I'll put them in a playlist on a private YouTube link. Okay? So we talk to you later. Check my website for that. I'll be updating on Facebook as well. I will have a drop-down menu on my website to purchase. I will also have a fast PayPal link that you can do it in a couple of clicks. And if you would like me to send you an invoice, if you don't have a PayPal account, I can send you one, and it's workable that way for you too, even though I send it through PayPal, but you don't have to have a PayPal account. So talk to you soon. If anybody else would like to purchase it, I don't take cards myself, but that's the one way to take cards. But if you work through checks or cash, we can work something out too. Just message me, marylindaliz@gmail.com. And my book is on Amazon. My 4 books are on Amazon, of course, under Mary Keena Donnellan. Okay, talk to you soon.